Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is a twofer. So, this was a request. This is Afghan villagers versus American soldiers friendly wrestling match. Highlights cultural exchange. We got that one. And then we have another request. And here's where I screwed up, okay? And I apologize. When I first read it, I read it as the Wandering Wrestler because I was combining both videos. And since they're both short, I'm just kind of put them both together. So apologies to both people. Both of you requested things, and I have to lump them together just to make them a little bit longer. It is what it is. Before I get started, this has been out 6 months, 44 views. There you go, bud. Because it's just, no, I'm not talking to you, phone. Go away. Go away. Okay. I'm not going to subscribe to the channel because I don't know anything about it, and this disclaimer worries me. So I probably could have gotten this from somewhere else. We'll see. But anyways, we're going to start with a good old fashioned wrestling match. That's what I meant to say. Good old fashioned wrestling match. All right. If you're an old school fan of wrestling like me, probably gonna be Hulk Hogan in this. Probably Ultimate Warrior, obviously greatest wrestler of all time. A little bit of probably Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, baby, Dusty Rhodes. You don't know hard times, baby, hard times. All right, video.
Welcome to Tactical Talks. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and unexpected moment. An old-fashioned wrestling match between Afghan villagers and American soldiers. This friendly bout offers a rare glimpse into a different kind of interaction between troops and locals, far removed from the tensions of the battlefield. The footage captures a truly unique scene of camaraderie and mutual respect. Wrestling, a beloved traditional sport across many Afghan regions, took center stage during this encounter. What began as a light-hearted contest quickly showcased the villagers' well-honed skills, passed down through generations. Despite the soldiers' strength, the villagers, through their deep cultural connection to the sport, emerged victorious. The match itself was marked by good-natured competition, with both sides giving their best effort.
As a side note, Abraham Lincoln in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, was a tremendous wrestler. This wrestling, not like, WWE wrestling. He was a real wrestler. Oh, I don't mean to say it that way. He was old. Yep.
Yet, the Afghan villagers, with their lifetime of wrestling experience, displayed remarkable agility and technique. Though the soldiers were no strangers to physical challenge, the villagers' mastery of the sport, honed over years of practice, allowed them to take the win. What stands out here is not just the wrestling, but the human connection forged through shared traditions. In a place often defined by conflict, this moment reminds us of the universal power of sport to bridge divides. It's a powerful example of how even in difficult environments, cultures can come together through respect and friendly competition. If you found this story insightful...
That was interesting. Yeah, I don't know how to wrestle at all. Like that kind of wrestling, I'd be pinned relatively quickly. So, okay, that's part one. And then part two is, I want to say Imru, but it's too obvious. Imru al-Qays? Al-Qays? Imru al-Qays. My dog's snoring. So this is the Wandering King, and I can't believe I actually thought it was Wandering Wrestler. So that makes no sense. Let me go back. Okay.
Imru al-Qays is the most famous of the poets of pre-Islam.
I'm sorry, let me hear that again.
Imru al-Qays
Imru al-Qays. Imru al-Qays
is the most famous of the poets of pre-Islamic Arabia. The greatest testament to his poetic genius is that the rest of the poets imitate his style and follow his lead. He would start his poems by weeping over ruins that remind him of his lost lover. Then he expresses his anguish and longing for her. He describes her beauty and charm until the heart of the listener is completely turned towards him, and he has his attention. Then he would proceed to the topics he wants to present and convey: the beauty of his horse, the exploits of youth, his pursuit to return the lost kingdom of his father, and so on. And this style was adopted by the poets who came after him and can be seen throughout classical Arabic poetry. Imru al-Qays was a prince who spent his youth drinking and chasing women. His father was embarrassed of his ways and ended up expelling him from his court. Imru al-Qays left him and joined a group of vagabonds, drinking, partying, and coaxing women, until one day his father was murdered by Banu Asad. Imru al-Qays finally awoke from his drunkenness and swore revenge for his father. He enlisted the help of the tribes of Bakr and Taghlib against Banu Asad. He succeeded in killing a large number of them, but when Bakr and Taghlib saw that he wasn't just after revenge, but the revival of the lost kingdom of his father, they then abandoned him. Imru al-Qays, refusing to give up, traveled across the Arabian Peninsula and the Levant, taking refuge with tribes, hiding from his enemies and seeking support for his mission. Finally, he traveled all the way to Constantinople and asked the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I for help. The emperor welcomed him and
Justinian I. I think I did a video on him. Oh, I want to say I did. He was an interesting person. Wasn't he the... maybe I didn't. Justinian... Okay, so the person I'm thinking of, they were the military guy for another king. And was the king killed and maybe he took over? But he was really good, I thought. He was a good guy. Could be wrong. I may be thinking of someone else now. Apologies.
Reinforced him with several troops to help him return his father's fallen kingdom. But there was a man named Tammah in the court of the emperor, whose brother Imru al-Qays had killed. He told the emperor that Imru al-Qays was having an affair with his daughter, and even worse, he was composing poetry boasting of his exploits, and this was humiliating the emperor throughout Arabia. The emperor sent Imru al-Qays a beautiful cloak, which was poisoned on the inside, and told him this was his own cloak and this would show that he had the support of the emperor. Delighted, Imru al-Qays wore it, and his skin started falling off, and he became extremely sick. About this he says, لَقَدْ طَمَحَ الطَّمَّاحُ مِنْ بُعْدِ أَرْضِهِ لِيُلْبِسَنِي مِمَّا يُلَبِّسُ أَبُؤْسَ. Verily Tammah has endeavored from his distant land to make me wear miseries with his schemes. فَلَوْ أَنَّهَا نَفْسٌ تَمُوتُ سَوِيَّةً وَلَكِنَّهَا نَفْسٌ تَسَاقَطُ أَنفُسًا. Had it only been a soul dying once, but it is a soul falling apart as many. Finally, when he reached Ankara in modern-day Turkey, he found a grave of a Roman princess, and he said, أَجَارَتَنَا إِنَّ الْمَزَارَ قَرِيبُ وَإِنِّي مُقِيمٌ مَا أَقَامَ عَسِيبُ. O my neighbor, verily the place of visit is near, and I shall stay as long as this Asib, the name of a mount. أَجَارَتَنَا إِنَّ غَرِيبَانِ هَاهُنَا وَكُلُّ غَرِيبٍ لِلْغَرِيبِ نَصِيبُ. O my neighbor, We are two strangers here, and every stranger is to the other stranger a friend. And there he died and was buried next to the Roman princess. His poetry was moving and exquisite. He was a master at using similes and metaphors. He brings beautiful imagery into the mind of the reader when describing the mundane things around him. This is how he describes a rainfall. وألقى بصحراء الغبيت بعاءه نزول اليمان ذي العياب المخول. The cloud unloads its freight on the desert of Ghabit, like a merchant of Yemen alighting with his bales of rich apparel. He likens the heavy rainfall unloading onto the desert to the rich Yemeni merchant unpacking his apparel. He describes a mountain and he says, كأن أبانا في أفانين ودقه كبير أناس في بجاد مزمل. The Mount Aban, covered with the rubbish which the torrent has rolled down, looks like a venerable chief wrapped in a striped mantle or a striped cloak. He says about his horse, مكر مفر مقبل مدبر معا كجلمود صخر حطه السيل من علي. Swift to attack, to flee, to turn, yet firm as a rock swept down by the torrent. على الذبل جياش كأن اهتزامه إذا جاش فيه حميه غلي مرجلي. Thin but full of life, fire boils within him like the snorting of a boiling kettle. مسح إذا ما السابحات على الونى أثرن الغبار بالكديد المركل. He continues at full gallop when other horses are dragging their feet in the dust out of weariness. يزل الغلام الخف عن سهواته ويلوي بأثواب العنيف المثقل. A boy would be blown away from his back, and even the strong rider loses his garments because of the speed of his horse. ذرير كحذروف الوليد أمره تتابع كفيه بخيط موصل. Fast is my steed as a top when a child has spun it well. He describes the loveliness of a woman he had known and he says, إذا التفتت نحوي تضوع ريحها نسيم الصبا جاءت بري القرنفل. If she turns towards me, her fragrance emanates like a light breeze carrying the smell of cloves. ويدحي فتيت المسك فوق فراشها نؤوم الضحى لم تنتطق أن تفضلي. In the morning when she wakes, the particles of musk are lying over her bed. She sleeps much in the morning. She does not need to gird her waist with a working dress. Meaning that when she sleeps in her bed and wakes up, the bed smells of musk out of her loveliness. She sleeps till it's late morning as she has servants doing all her work for her and she lives in luxury. إلى مثلها يرن الحليم صبابة إذا ما استقرت بين درع ومجول. Toward one like her, the wise man gazes incessantly, lovingly. She is well proportioned in height between the wearer of a long dress and a short frock, meaning she is neither too young nor too old.
That was interesting. I don't know anything about it. It's the first time I've ever even heard the name. How old was he when he died? These are things I could look up, but I will immediately forget that I asked the questions because I have other videos to do. Did he ever? Maybe did I miss it? Did he ever get the kingdom? Oh, I know he didn't get the kingdom back, but well, this was a twofer. It was a couple small videos. I apologize if you were wanting something longer. These are both requests. So, I'm going to end it there. Hope you enjoyed. I did. Until next time, have a good day, have a good night.